Hi, I'm Terry and I'm nuts about stamping. I'm back today with another Sundays with Sizzix project. I am going to make a wedding card with a little bit of help from my Big Shot and my beautifully Baroque embossing folder. The first thing I want to do though is I'm going to change things up. Usually I bring in my Big Shot right away and use it, but this time I'm going to create the phrase for the front of the card, and then I'll use my Big Shot in a little bit. I'm going to use the Label Love bundle, which is the Label Love stamp set, and then the corresponding punch. And I've already taken the Mr. and Mrs. stamp and mounted it on clear block C. I'm going to use my jet black StazOn to ink up the stamp and stamp it down, and then I'm going to punch it out. There we go. I love how our stamps and our punches correspond together because it makes for very easy crafting. So there's my phrase, and now I'm going to use my Big Shot and my beautifully Baroque embossing folder to create a layer for the front of my card. My card base is going to be Whisper White. I'm going to have a layer of basic black, and then on top of that I want to emboss this layer using the beautifully Baroque folder. So my platform is on tab 1. I've got my bottom standard cutting pad, my folder with the Whisper White cardstock inside, top standard cutting pad, and then I'm going to run the folder through, and that will emboss it with a beautiful impression on the Whisper White layer that looks very wedding-y to me. This is more of a formal kind of wedding layout for a card. Now I'm going to bring in my snail adhesive and my basic black layer. So the Whisper White layer that I just embossed is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then this basic black layer is 1/8 of an inch larger all the way around, like so. Then I want to add another embellishment. I have some chevron ribbon here that's basic black, and it's sort of a black and white chevron pattern on it. I always leave my ribbon on the bolt. I'm going to bring in my craft scissors that I only use for cutting ribbon, and I'm going to cut the length off that I want. I'm going to turn the card over, the card front layer. I'm going to pull a piece of snail adhesive on the back and then put my chevron ribbon, wrap it around, and then adhere it like that. I'm going to set that aside for just a moment, and my layer, or the card base for this card is Whisper White, cut 8.5 by 5.5, and then I'm going to fold it and crease it with my bone folder, and that'll create a crease at the 4 1/4 mark. There we go. And now I'm ready to attach my layer to the front of my card. So I'll add some more snail adhesive. The other adhesive you could use would be some sticky strip. And there we go. There is my card front all ready for my phrase. And so then the last thing I'm going to do, or one of the last things I'm going to do, is bring in my punched image that says Mr. and Mrs. I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional at the top and at the bottom of the phrase on the back. And then I am going to adhere it. Whoops. To the front of my card, like so. Now, if I wanted to fancy it up a little bit, I have some basic pearls, and the Mr. and the Mrs. on this card, they have the period as well on there. So I'm going to bring in my paper piercing tool which I always use when I'm picking up my basic pearls or my rhinestone jewels. I'm going to pick up a rhinestone jewel and put it where the Mr. period is, and then where the Mrs. period is. Not quite done though, because I would like to add one more embellishment to the front of my card. There's my scrap. I am going to punch a Whisper White butterfly using the Elegant Butterfly Punch. And then I'm going to bring in the small butterfly punch and punch a basic black. I'm going to bring in my silicone sheet. I love using this sheet when I have a little pieces to adhere. I can run my adhesive along, and if I get some over, it won't stick. I can just rub it off afterwards. So I've got my basic black butterfly on my Whisper White butterfly. Excuse me. And then I'm going to go back to my basic pearls, and along the side of the package, these pearls here that are in 3 rows are attached together by a little string underneath. And so what I do is I just tuck my scissors underneath and I cut off the length that I want. And then I just pick it up using my paper piercing tool. So you can see, hopefully, I've got the 3 pearls on there. And then I'm going to just center them onto my butterfly and push them off with my finger. There we go. So I have a beautifully embellished butterfly. And then the last thing I'm going to do is adhere that butterfly to the front of my card using one more Stampin' Dimensional. I'm just going to put the Stampin' Dimensional on the side, on one of the sides of the butterfly, because I want the butterfly to be able to bend. Now I'm going to bring back in my card. I'm going to attach my butterfly using the Stampin' Dimensional, and my card is done. For a complete listing of the supplies that I used to make this card and the measurement for the cardstock layers and scrap pieces, hop on over to my blog, www.nutsaboutsstamping.com. While on my blog, you can look at lots of other sample ideas. You can join my Techniques Online club. You can place an order for the products I used to make this card. You can ask me a question, or you can subscribe to my free customer newsletters. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. See you next time. Bye for now.